What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. So today we're going to be ranking the 6 Rebirth champions from worst to best. So we're going to do 2 lists here. This is going to be basically an unduped version and then duped version. So if you were to pull this champion once, where would they be placed? And if you actually dupe them, where would they be placed? Because it changes things. Even just one dupe changes things. So we're starting with the unduped list. I think the number 6 champion, so the worst one, is Dr. Voodoo. Because if he's not duped, he does not get the increased ability accuracy, which is really, really bad for him. Like, you can never place Loa on the opponent. You just have that 10% chance. And then you don't even get the increased buff duration, which is applied to your special 2 power drain or power steal buffs. So I was testing him on Duped, man, and he was like literally so miserable. I couldn't. Like, he just needs the 620. That's the good thing about him. So obviously he's gonna get changed when we go for the duped list. But as of the unduped, I really don't like him at all. I would not play this guy unduped. Now for number 5 unduped, it would have to go to Night Thrasher. Where is he? So kind of the same thing, you know. Night Thrasher is a bit underwhelming unduped because you don't get the taunt, which means you don't get the furies. But again, even one dupe for this guy makes him a lot better, and I think it's just better than Dr. Voodoo because, you know, they're both unusable, but at least Night Thrasher has more utility. At least, you know, you get that true accuracy in those skateboard attacks, so you can like prevent evade and auto block. Whereas like Dr. Voodoo, you can't place the Loas. It just takes so long, so you just don't have power steal. They don't last that long. Like, it's just really, really bad. But now moving on to number 4. Number 4 unduped would have to go to Sabretooth. I think Sabretooth is probably the worst champion out of those 6, but unduped, he's pretty much the same champion as if he were duped, because he's just a defender. If he's duped, like, you just get those, you know, those regenerations and stuff like that. So at least he's got some decent damage even if he's unduped. Now moving on to the top 3. The top 3 would have to go to Call Obsidian. So Call Obsidian is a monster. He hits like a truck, but he really likes that dupe ability, because with that dupe ability you can reactivate the root buff, which lets you get those big red numbers, and then it also gives you that massive fury. Like, look at this fury at C200. It gives you 10,000 attack. That's crazy, bro. Because, like, yeah, when that root buff expires, you can get that big fury to just close out the fights. It's just so good to be there. Like, so unduped, you miss a lot of this big damage because, yeah, it's just you don't have the fury or the root to be able to be reactivated. So you have to use him unduped in like very short fights if you don't want to have a problem with Call Obsidian. Now moving on to the top 2 and top 1, I would give the top 2 to Viv Vision, because unduped Viv is all right. You know, she really likes the dupe as well, because you can place those energy vulnerabilities, which then increase your damage when you spam the special ones, and then you also get more power steal, so you can just spam the special ones a lot easier. But she doesn't really need it. Like, I did try her unduped and I did the heavy rotation up until the special 2, and she was doing some pretty good damage. Definitely a lot more. She's definitely a lot better with the dupe, like a lot easier to use with those more potency on the power steal. But I think she's still a pretty good champion even unduped. Just, you know, wouldn't have like as much damage. And then moving on to the last one, obviously it would have to go to Anti-Venom. He is the last one. Anti-Venom, honestly, man, I don't even think he needs a dupe. It really is nice to get those regens and also get a little bit more power from blocking specials, but he doesn't even need it. Like, he just hits like a truck without the dupe ability. Like, his damage is exactly the same if he's duped or unduped, which is phenomenal. Like, he can get so many furies, he got so much damage, he is crazy. But now let's move on to the duped version. So if you have all of them duped, in my opinion the worst one is Sabretooth, because again, the dupe just doesn't change much for him. He doesn't do a lot. He just gets the armor break on the skills, places a bit of bleeds. He is cold snap immune. It doesn't do much for me. At least he's a kind of like a dual threat if he's duped, but still I would have to go with the number 6 spot. I think he's probably the worst champion you can get duped. Now moving on to number 5, I would have to give the number 5 to Dr. Voodoo, Because same thing, like Dr. Voodoo, I just consider him like a decent counter to Dark Phoenix and an okay counter to like Serpent. He doesn't take many matches because some of them are poison immune and some of them that have buffs where he benefits a lot from, they are nullify immune. Like let's say Red Skull or let's say Viv Vision. Those guys are immune to nullify. You can't even benefit from their buffs. So he doesn't really take a lot of matches. He's just a decent counter to Dark Phoenix. But another good thing about Dr. Voodoo is that at Sig 20, he's really just fine. He doesn't need Sig 200. Now, moving on to number 4, when you have them all duped, I would have to give it to Night Thrasher. I was debating of giving Night Thrasher top 5 or top 4, but I genuinely think Night Thrasher is a much better champion than Dr. Voodoo, because that true accuracy on the skateboard attacks just allows you to do so many fights. Like, when I showcased them, I fought Void, I fought mcoc, I fought evaders like Spider-Woman, Mr. Fantastic. So he can take them because he doesn't really need to throw other attacks than the skateboard ones. You know, so his mediums and his heavies and the special 2, because that's how he ramps up with the heavies and the taunts, and then using your skateboard attacks when the opponent's taunted. So he can just use mediums and heavy attacks if you only have to use those attacks in one fight. So I actually I didn't think I would like Night Thrasher more than Dr. Voodoo, but yeah, after making the video, definitely like him a lot more. Now the number 3 spot goes to Viv Vision. If she is Sig 200, it actually kind of changes her quite a bit, because you can power steal exactly 1 bar of power. So you throw 1 special 1 and then you're back to another special 1, then you're back to another special 1. So you spam 3 special 1s, and then that's just a lot of smooth rotation that you can't actually use even against someone like Yelena. If you check out my video, I actually fought a rank 4 Yelena with rank 3 Sig 200 Viv, and she actually had enough damage to kill her in a fairly quick time as well. So Viv Vision, pretty decent if you have her duped. Now moving on to number 2 and number 1, we have Call Obsidian and Anti-Venom. So who is number 2 when they're duped? It's Anti-Venom. I would have to give it to Anti-Venom, because again, he doesn't really benefit a lot from the dupe, in my opinion. Like, he just gets a bit more potency on his debuff switches. It's cool, it's not bad for sure, but I think the biggest hit is like he regens all that damage from, you know, blocked hits or non-crits when you take hits to the face, and then he just gets a lot of power from blocking specials. But yeah, I actually really like him duped. I think even just a Sig 20 Anti-Venom would be pretty decent. You wouldn't be able to heal as much, but it's still better than nothing. But it's not that his dupe is bad, it's just that Call Obsidian's dupe is phenomenal, man. Like, it's so insane how powerful this guy is when he's duped. The fact that you can re-trigger that root buff, and then that when this root buff expires, you get this massive fury. It's crazy. So basically, you trigger the root buff, it lasts for 10 seconds, and if you hit the opponent many times, that fury buff that lasts for 4 seconds, its duration is increased by 0.5 seconds. So if you do a lot of hits during that fury counter, during that root buff, that fury is gonna last, you know, almost like 6 to 7 seconds. And then when this is gone, you basically have the root buff back again. So you hit those big red numbers, and then when this expires, you get the fury again. So this is kind of like a nice loop that makes him honestly very good for long fights as well, because see, it's like a truck. He has those red numbers to kind of like get away from those damage caps and deal some extra damage. So yeah, I would have to give the number 1 to Call Obsidian. I think he's insane. Even just at Sig 20, like just giving you the opportunity to re-trigger that root and then get that fury, I think it's phenomenal. So yeah, that is my ranking for the 6 Rebirth champions. If I were to choose, like let's say I'm gonna open 2 crystals, I would really like to get probably Anti-Venom once, and then 1 Call Obsidian, and then if I were to select one, I would probably select the dupe on Call Obsidian. That's what I think is like the best thing ever. Now if I were to get Dr. Voodoo randomly, I would probably awaken him as well, because just Sig 20 is fine for him, and then I would just have a decent counter for Dark Phoenix and okay for Serpent. But yeah, guys, let me know what you guys think about the 6 Rebirth champions. How would you rank them? And also, who are you hoping for getting from those 2 crystals? So yeah, let me know what you guys think. If you guys enjoyed this video, please give it a like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.